We can start with a poem from Dr. Lucita to energize us, and then we go to the main agenda.
I have given it a title, Let Go. Let go. The luggage, the language that is all vintage, let go. Be it from the village, it be without an advantage, let go. That rage in a cage that is voyage, let go. With age that is blanched with pain and its courage, let go. It has misappropriated percentage, let go. The words of age that are not so average, let go. The words that are so salvage that can break a marriage, let go. The unity kingdom that it could sabotage, let go. Messages that are from the hostage that are just a baggage, let go. The leaking a strong linkage, just let go. Stage with no imagery image, just let it go. That one that can manage, that can't manage a fair homage, just let go. Let go of the melting dosage. The health damaged sewage, just let go. Flip a page for a proper lineage, or you just let go. Let go whatever that is not of advantage. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We will let go. Let go. Great. So welcome everyone. If you're joining Power Monday, yes, yes. No. If you're joining Power Monday for the first time, then this is a platform provided by Live Your Dream. And the main idea is to share knowledge and information that helps you have a productive week and a productive life, that you may be able to live your dream. Yes, you get out of the bondage of negativity and everything that bedevils people's progress, and become the person you are meant to be, living and enjoying your life. So we discuss lots of topics, and we do this every Monday. Now, at this moment, I'd like to introduce our speaker for today. And our speaker, I'll just do a brief intro, is Harriet Chebet Ng'ok. Harriet, she's the founder of Harriet's Botanicals. She's the founder and CEO. And Harriet starts her bio with her age. You know, very few ladies want to speak about their age. But there is a point there, that she's 48-year-old African woman from Kipsigis community, currently based in Kenya. And she owns a company, as I've mentioned, Harriet's Botanicals, based in Nairobi, but has branches, about 5 of them now. They have a range of herbal products that are extracted largely from Rift Valley, which is roots. And they've been able to grow the products to help in various issues, including menstrual problems for ladies, some other problems for men, and lots of other things. Prior to this, she was a finance consultant and investment banker based in London, and most recently with a focus to climate finance and renewable energy projects. She's worked with JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, and the Financial Services Authority in London. She studied in London School of Economics. You can hear those schools, eh? And has 2 degrees, LLB, in mercantile law. I don't know whether that is the way to call it. And LLM, that's a master's in international banking and finance law. So this is a legal person, a learned friend. I'm not in that category. And that provided her with a lot of experience on the financial market and as an entrepreneur, consultant, and project leader in the renewable energy, affordable housing, health, and water services. This also provided her with experience on running a young business, scale and grow SME in Africa. So she's since received patents and copyrights and trademarks to protect the brand and the formula that she uses. And we are blessed to have her today to share with us how we can stay healthy in 2023 and beyond. What a blessed people we are. Welcome, Harriet.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me. Today, I'm actually in Sotik, so I'm not even in Nairobi. I traveled last week, Sunday. I've been here now 1 week, 1 day. Actually, I came to Sotik Sunday, but by Monday, I was in Kisumu and Sembo. By Tuesday, I was in Nyakach. Wednesday, I was in Nyakach. Thursday, I was back in Sotik. So, and then from here, I went to Kericho also to see my shop. And then from here, I'm hoping to pass through Nakuru, see one of my shops, and then head to Nairobi. So this is my Western circuit. I'm supposed to be on holiday, but I have discovered that entrepreneurs don't go on holiday. We just go on working holidays. And we try and rest in the middle of it all. So yes, I'm here, and I carried I carry my products for myself when I travel, like this one for gut health, because all the different things I'm eating everywhere I go, I usually pick up a bug. Then I've got everything. I'll explain more of them later. This is my latest baby, Mosaic Chot, which is for diabetes type 2, arthritis or joint pain, things like that. I have my flagship product, but this is a diaspora. This marketing is a bit different to what you see with Arrowroot, because this is what goes into the diaspora, and it has all the FDA information, especially for the US. I have my men's product, which I bought for my brother. And also this is a diaspora marketing. And then of course, I always carry this one for respiratory health because it rains so much here that sometimes you feel like you're going to catch a cold. So this is what I carry. So as was said earlier, yes, I source these products from the Southern Rift Valley, specifically the Mau Forest. So around the Mau live the Ogiek, the Maasai, and the Kipsigis. And you know, the Ogiek are the actual keepers of the ancient traditional medicinal knowledge. They look after the trees and also have hives in that vicinity. So you can find specific Ogiek are responsible for specific trees. They are the keepers of the forest. They are a cousin, you know, the way they keep the Kalenjin are made of, most people think Kalenjin are just Nandis, you know, or Tugans because of, you know, the usual, those people who have made us very famous. But Kalenjin is actually 13 sub-tribes, including the Sabot, the Elgeyo, the Keyo, the Tugen, the Nandi, the Kipsigis, the Ogiek, and some others I haven't mentioned who even live in a certain lake. I've forgotten their name right now. But I deal specifically with the Kipsigis because of my heritage. And I work with the Ogiek because they are the ones who actually live in the forest itself, in the Mau complex. And of course, the Maasai are also like on another part of the same complex, and they do a lot of traditional medicine. They travel around Kenya, always walking their medicine. So when it comes to health, I mean, my own journey has shown me, I mean, I discovered this product because I suffered from a condition called endometriosis, which plagued me for something like 25 years, starting at when I was 17. And I've always had very, very painful periods, and I'd miss work even weeks. And I'd been in a lot of pain, and I've had 1 surgery. So it's not uncommon to meet people who have endo, who had even 5 surgeries, both laparoscopic and open cut. And for me, my surgery was an emergency surgery because I didn't really know what was going on, but it ended, and they thought it was cancer, but it was actually just endometriosis that had blocked my intestinal canal. So it wasn't allowing food through. And that is how I was getting finished. I had a cyst in there for 10 centimeters. So now in this business, you don't find it uncommon to meet women who have ovarian cysts, 10 centimeters, fibroids, You know, we recently had a lady who was using our product just for pain because she was due for surgery. And when they went in, they removed 40 fibroids. And out of the 40, 10 were like this large. So her tummy was big, like, you know, a 6 to 8 month pregnancy. So I think so many of us are unaware. I mean, starting with the fact that, so we start with like when we're teenagers. So when we're teenagers, most women, that is when they start developing these issues around painful menses and difficult periods. And that is when we start saying, just take a painkiller. And now in the West, I've seen they actually prescribe family planning if you have difficult periods. I mean, they did the same for me when I lived in England as a student. So like, I think at 21, I was on the pill just to manage pain, though I didn't stay on it for very long. And the pill with its attendant side effects. So you see what they're doing with any women's issues is that they are managing the problem, managing the pain. They're throwing painkillers at us. If you think 50% of women suffer from painful menses, even more, I'd say 60% of women. Another 60% will have an ovarian cyst at some point in their lives. 40% of women will have fibroids, and 20% of women will have endometriosis. So you can imagine the painkillers, the painkiller market, if you ask me, is really for women. Because in addition to just having a headache or you hurt your leg, every single month you will bleed. And now at menopause is becoming so difficult as well with the hot flushes and the insomnia and the night sweats, but even just general not sleeping because of the insomnia. So if you're waking up every 2 hours in a sweat and your body temperature is so hot that you can't sleep, then again, your whole circadian rhythm is affected. So many women are again taking sleeping tablets and painkillers to manage menopause. So you can see there's a whole range of issues around just women. You know, coupled with these diseases also come with infertility, primary and secondary. A lot of women struggle with after they've been taking their depot shot or whatever it is that it takes maybe 3 years after they stop for the period to come back, and a long time for them to conceive when they're thinking, well, I'm off my family planning now, I should be getting a baby. So then, of course, it has emotional ramifications. Infertility has huge emotional and psychological and social ramifications in the family. People are breaking up. People are breaking up because they don't have sons. People are breaking up because you've got, there are men who come and tell me, Hana watoto, wasichana tatu pekee. And they're ready to divorce their wives. I was speaking to somebody, actually, a client in Kisumu, who's so frustrated because he married his wife. And 2 years into the marriage, they don't have any children and he wants to divorce her. So the counseling we give him every time we talk to him is why not to divorce her? So it becomes a different type of, responding to a different type of problem than we thought, as she's seeking treatment in all its various forms. I mean, she's moved to Eldoret, she's gone to Nairobi, she's talking to all the gynecologists, she's changed her diet, done everything in her power, but every other week, this guy is ready to divorce her. So you see, there's so many problems associated with reproductive health now. When it comes to men, now mambo yote iko hapo tena, because before we would be expecting our men to start not being the men that we thought they were, maybe around 50, 60, even 70. But now men in their 20s are struggling with erectile dysfunction and premature ejaculation, and also infertility, because these are young married couples coming out of university, 23, 24 years old. And you then find that they can't have a baby. And after the woman has been checked and found there's nothing wrong with her, actually discover that these men also have low sperm count. And you can attribute this to the diet, change of diets, you know, environment, high stress environment. Soft drinks, a lot of sugar, you know, a lot of sugar in our soft drinks, processed sugar, plus the coffee and the tea we're drinking. The food that we're eating, because now young people are out there getting their chips or their kebab or whatever it is, fast food, lack of traditional vegetables. The environment is completely not supportive to, you know, strength, virility, and fertility. So this is the new slew of problems that we are having also with steroids in the food. And people who do a lot of bodybuilding also have this problem because of some of the supplements that they're eating. Side effects of medication, which includes your diabetes. Like one of the things that happens when you have when you have diabetes or high blood pressure is it also comes with erectile dysfunction, just by virtue of the fact that all the systems are connected. And if it's difficult for the blood to get to the right places, it will not prioritize going down there, you know, sehemu za nyeti. It will prioritize keeping your heart going, keeping the vital, keeping you alive. So then, of course, we have your regular respiratory problems, and we have the normal gut problems. I mean, it's become an epidemic now: gastritis, hyperacidity, ulcers, you know, gas, and bloating. So, I mean, for me, when I started this journey, it was really just about curing my endo. I did not want painful periods. I didn't care about anything else. I didn't care about infertility. I didn't care about growths. I didn't care about fibroids. As long as I don't see them, I didn't care. I was fed up. But this journey taught me a lot because I meet clients all the time who have new problems. And I'm using my product to treat those problems, and they educate me a lot. So when I say your health is your responsibility, I think most people don't understand that there's so much going on in our environment that is actually killing us slowly. You know, you will notice that a long time ago, people could live up to their 90s, you know, and I have a grandfather, the youngest brother of my grandfather. He's actually alive at 106. My mom-in-law, we thank God, she's actually alive at 94. That's just that different generation, but both my parents passed. My mom passed at 68. My dad passed at 74. And maybe a few weeks ago, we buried a friend of a mom's friend, also at 75, 76. So, you know, she was telling me that for her mom was healthy, everything was fine. All that happened is COVID came and she got pneumonia when she had COVID. Was it 2 years back? And the next thing she was okay. And the next thing she was dead. You know, they found her dead in the house. So the question is, why are we not living longer? And why are we all dying of the same diseases? Why is it thin people can have a heart attack? Or thin people, you find some people who are pre-diabetic. I met a 42-year-old pre-diabetic in Nyakach, and he was telling me it's just to do with the portions that he used to eat. Not that he's having a lot of sugar, but the fact that there's so much carb on his plate. So, you know, you think you're eating healthy, you're eating a massive ugali and your vegetables, and you think, yeah, I'm healthy, I don't even eat meat. But that huge ugali is actually your new problem. And the more we process that flour, so initially we had, obviously, you know, our portions and our food was limited to what we used to grow naturally and in season. And we're not using all these weird fertilizers. We were not using Roundup. You know, over here, for instance, Roundup had to be banned because people were spraying the tea with Roundup. So all this beautiful tea that you see, the green stuff that goes abroad and that excites everybody, it's so beautiful, it's so green, it's so nice. If it's being sprayed with Roundup, that tea is ending up in your stomach. And this is why now we have a prevalence, you know, an explosion of cancer in places like this, where we have a lot of stomach cancer and a lot of esophagus cancer, places which did not have these diseases. And these people have not changed their diet. They've only introduced certain things into the environment that were not there before. So then obviously, another thing that stopped happening is, on top of the fact that our plate is now full of gluten, it's full of soy-fed protein, because now we have animals are being fed on soya, which I think is mainly grown in places like Ukraine, and soya is loaded with estrogen. And so now we are loading our bodies with estrogen. You think you're having meat, but that meat ate a lot of estrogen. So now you become estrogen dominant, and you begin to manifest your fibroids, your endometriosis, all the problems that are related to estrogen. Or you have now something in your diet that has a lot of testosterone, you know? And next thing, you start, as a woman, you start having mandevus, and your voice changes and it goes lower, things like that. So you don't even know what's going on with you. People are laughing at you because your hair is falling off, right? You're getting mandevus, your voice is changing, your body is becoming more stocky, more manly because of testosterone, you know, that is now in your body. And because of that, you develop something called PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, which means you don't produce eggs. And your period comes like every 3 months. You can't have babies. So you see, PCOS is now the other extreme. You have your estrogen dominance and you have your testosterone dominance. And a lot of it now, PCOS is also linked to diabetes because insulin goes up. And back again to our diet, carbohydrates, you know, the fact that we're eating starches all the time. We eat bread in the morning, we might eat your sweet potatoes, we might eat your mashed potatoes, then you've got your rice and you've got your chapatis. Those are staples in your home. But if you really think about it, maybe the meat is kidogo, the veggies the kids don't like so much anymore. But what's on that plate is majority starches and carbohydrates. But you wouldn't even know. You think your family is healthy, or you think, yes, I'm getting things for them that are good for them. Then the next thing we have a lot in our diet, sugar, processed sugar. And when I say processed sugar, I mean things like this. You think you've bought like some nice juice, but you'd be surprised at how much sugar is now in this. Or when you go and when they make for you fresh passion juice in a restaurant, they add sugar. So now if you're like me and you have 10 cups of tea in a day, this is black tea, and this is black tea, and I'm now using honey. Imagine if you have 10 cups of tea and you put 3 teaspoons of sugar. That is 30 teaspoons of sugar. But according to you, you're healthy. You're not eating chocolates and all the other stuff. Now you bring in the cereals, all the processed cereals, like Rice Krispies, all the things the kids like are just full of processed sugar. And why, maize is so political. Things like corn syrup. Corn syrup is this thing that they put in all the food to make it addictive. So I can imagine there's corn syrup in your KFC. There's corn syrup in your ketchup. There's corn syrup in any of these really nice things that kids love to eat. This is a secret ingredient in American food. And that is why Americans, they eat the same portions, but they're getting bigger. They're bigger than us. So this is now kind of like, wake up call, because it gets quite detailed. When I started thinking, what is the root? What is the root? Why is everybody sick? Why is everybody's mom got high blood pressure, diabetes, arthritis? Why? I thought, what has changed? Because long time ago, people used to walk down the river, come back, bring the cows. They never complained about joints, but you have 40-year-olds now saying, oh, my knees at the gym. I can't do that exercise. My knees, my knees, my knees. So this is all to do with our change of lifestyle. And when I say people think change of lifestyle means I eat junk food. No, change of lifestyle, you're eating processed food. You don't know where your food comes from. You don't know what the fertilizer has been used. And you don't know that somebody has a hidden agenda to make a lot of money based on you, the ordinary Kenyan. Not that kid who eats KFC every day, just based on the fact that you put sugar in your tea and you drink milk, or, like the cows are now eating soya. They're sedentary. They're not the way they used to go and eat all the grass and all the thorns. If you taste the Maasai milk, it's very different from the one that is coming out of X amount of dairy, where they're producing 50 liters a day per cow. And they do that because of the feeds, right? So now, all that, you see, is designed to make people money. The more milk you get out of your cow, but it'll make you sick. Maybe they don't know it. Maybe you don't know it. But this is how we've gone from the journey of being naturally well as Africans. Now we are seeking wellness. We are on pills all the time. We're on painkillers. We're on sedatives for sleep. We're on antidepressants. We're on anti-anxiolytics. And a whole bunch of things just to stay alive, just to get through the day. And then now we add the alcohol, the alcohol, which has tons of sugar and a whole bunch of other things, interferes with our circadian rhythm. And now we sit in the office the whole day, exactly the way I'm sitting, or you sit in your car, you're driving, you're not moving anymore. Your mobility is now limited by at least 80%. If you exercise, your average person exercises just a little bit. They say, okay, I walk every day. So we've changed that, we've appended our lifestyle, but we haven't identified the things that are making us sick, making sure that you worked hard all your life, but at 60, you start to spend money on hospitals. At 70, 80, your children start to spend money on you, your medical, and you think that you've worked so hard and you've saved, you are hoping to leave them some cash and even give them some equity to buy a house. The way you'd think, so that generations can continue, but it's all about your healthcare now. Next thing, it's all about a humongous bill, 1.4 million, 2 point whatever. And next thing is about your funeral. And the family gets broke for a few years before they start over. And that, cycle of poverty continues. So my message is, first of all, you have to, before I even recommend my products, great, my products are moving because of this problem, problems are feeding my business, which is not good. People should we should aim to be healthy. And then, you know, like in ancient Egypt, for instance, the doctor was paid when the society was well. Not here, the doctor is paid when the society is sick. So back then, the fewer sicknesses, the more the doctor earned. But here, the more sicknesses, the more the doctor earns. So the doctor has an interest in just treating the symptoms so that they can also continue their lifestyle. So, I can talk a little bit about my products and then we can maybe go into questions. Like this latest product is very interesting because it's for joint pain. And Mosif Chot, you probably have it in your culture as well. We call it lion's ear in English. And the South Africans use it a lot. They have one called wild dagger. This is clip dagger. And it's from the same family. There's lion's tail, there's lion's ear. And then we have our secret formula in there, 8 other trees that we put to fortify. This is for blood pressure. It cleans the blood, it purifies the blood. It's also a diuretic, so it cleans the kidney. And it sort of helps you evacuate glucose in the blood. That is actually how it works. Very popular product because there were so many people with joint issues. Then, of course, I can talk about this one that you just keep in your house because kids are going to school and picking up homas everywhere. So this is what you give them to make sure to prevent. Prevention is better than cure. Once they are healed, they don't always have like mucus coming out of their mouth, their noses and things like that. And you just keep, this is like a one-time buy that you keep in your house. Every time they've got the sniffles, you give them. If you've got somebody with sinusitis or an elderly person also, somebody with asthma, this is a product for them. I've talked about my gut health product a lot already. This is Busareg Lelaitich. So I named this product in honor of my mom because Lelaitich is her home and Busareg means ash. So there were times that for longevity or to keep the medicine, it's now reduced to this, but the reason we don't do it with our other products is that we'd end up using too much of the tree. So when we use the liquid, then we're using less of the tree and the tree continues to grow. When we reduce them to ashes, we use a lot of feedstock to produce small quantities. Yeah. So this is Busareg Ab Lelaitich, and it's for stomach-related upsets and general wellness. Cleans the digestive system for gas reduction, diarrhea, aid acid reflux, even hangovers, by the way. This just works like charcoal, like the activated charcoal. So this I carry all the time for when I'm out and about. And I think I've mentioned my other products before. Well, this is the brochure I give out. These are my locations. I don't think you can see them because of the light, but I can read them out. I'm in Nairobi CBD, Karen at the waterfront, Westlands in Sarit. I'm on Gong Road, Sokosafi, Kericho, Green Square Mall, Nakuru, Highway Tower CBD, Eldoret, I'm in Zion Mall. Kisumu, I'm in Western Mall. Molo, I'm in Kamara Shopping Center. Kisii, I'm in Jaliza Business Center. Mombasa, I'm in Burhani Tower CBD. Meru Town, I'm at Central Point Mall. Kitengela, I'm at Eneshipai Business Center. Naivasha, I'm in Jonka Building, Cosmopolitan Sacco. We're also opening in Isili, very excited to be in the new mall, the new Business Bay Square Mall at Isili. We are shop number 10 on the 2nd floor. And I think that's where I am at for now. Thanks. Let me know if you have any questions. I've seen 11 on the chat.
Yes, thank you very much for that. Yeah, so Antonia, you can read a question that exists there, if any.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. There is a question on the chat session. It says, what is the sustainability aspect of your products? As it appears, they originate from trees or roots, and currently we very few trees. I think you meant we have very few trees. What is your contribution to tree planting, noting that we have depletion of the same? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So in our formulation, we only use 2 trees actually, and those are the actual arborate and tenderate. And we use very old, very mature trees, usually 50 years old. And now the way we harvest, we only harvest the top branches. We don't need a lot. So if you're looking at a very old tree, the boys will climb to the top and get the branches and harvest the bark. Then the bark comes back when you put the cow down. So we do what we call sustainable harvesting. If we touch any root, we only get part of the root. and it regenerates. The ones that we use roots are actually not trees, they are bushes or shrubs, and those regenerate every 3 months. Then of course, so we've got the roots, we've got the bark is the one that is critical. And then everybody plants these trees, you know, especially now that we retain the traditional names, it means that nobody's cutting them anymore. They know that they are medicine. That was part of the whole strategy. We have a community engagement project impacting about 200 people and for 200 families, talking about 2,000 people. And in all these areas, that is actually part of the reason why I'm here. We do community engagement here, which includes tree planting. I myself have started planting of the product. We recently sourced 100 acres in Malindi where we started growing this product with the aim of using in 10 years. So, I mean, sustainability is the heart of our business. That is why we have that cultural perspective, in that if we had called them by their English names, people would just not know and would start cutting them for charcoal. The charcoal industry is our biggest enemy. You know, if you look at in the forest, for instance, you find that the people in the medicinal CBO are at the bottom of the value chain as in terms of users of the forest. The people destroying the forest initially are the livestock guys, because they are clearing forest so that grass can go, and then livestock. And then the people planting potatoes. And of course, the people doing charcoal, like now, when people are looking for school fees, they go into the forest secretly at night, they take down a whole 100-year-old tree, and then they sell it for 8,000 bob and go pay school fees for the year. So we are the ones who want that tree. We're saying, do not cut down the indigenous trees. And then of course, the users of the charcoal in Nairobi and in other places where, you know, people never think about the fact that why am I using charcoal when there's more renewable energy sources now? And this is what I discovered out of my work in renewable energy, is that even when you bring these solar lanterns and like the solar cookers and the solar everything into the village, people still prefer to go and forage for the sticks. So part of our education is trying to help people understand, even though you say the ugali tastes sweeter because you have used firewood, you are destroying the environment. So this whole environmental thing is multifaceted. And, you know, we're happy to contribute with the education and the knowledge, you know, and things like that. But we can only do our part as medicinal users. Okay.
Thank you very much, Harriet. There is another question here. What can you say about lupus?
Okay, so for lupus, I have one client actually who has lupus, and she has started using my Mosip Short product, but I didn't promise to help her with lupus. What I promised to help her is with inflammation and also with her gut, because when the whole entire system is attacking itself, then all other things start happening. The problem with these autoimmune illnesses is not the illness itself, but what it does to the body. So for me, I've given her this product to help her with her gut, to just resolve her gut issues. I gave her this product to resolve her aches and bakes and her inflammation and her joint pain, and to calm down the nervous system. And she only started using my products the other day. I told her, I'm only trying. You try and come and give me some feedback. But I don't have a decisive decision on that yet.
Thank you very much. Yeah, there is also another question here. Could you speak to the effect of the pollution and chemicals you mentioned in the relation to the current and future state of herbal medicine and products?
So currently the herbal products are coming out of the forest, or even when people plant it on their land, they plant it on the fence or in the part where maybe the cows are grazing. So they are not impacted by this, but we're all impacted in one way or another. For instance, when they use Roundup or any fertilizer that now they're using, even in the tea growing areas, all that fertilizer ends up in the river, right? And people are actually washing their clothes and doing a whole bunch of things. They're using Omo, very tough detergents are ending up in the water. So whether we like it or not, we are absorbing, all these affluent. So if you look if you look at the river that gets to, the Athi River, if you go and look at it, like now in Nairobi, it is black, because, all the effluents coming from the industrial area. So I think it's without us having an awareness that we need to change a lot of things, we are all affected, whether we like it or not. We're just holding back the symptoms and doing our little bit that we can. And I know somebody asked about tonsillitis. Yes, this same product, Sagarita, can do that, help with that. And then obviously, this same product is for arthritis. Somebody talked about their elderly mom. And yes, I think I've answered those 2 other questions in case there was another one.
Yeah. Somebody needs a number. If you can share your telephone number on the chat session.
Sure. So should I type it? Let me type it.
Yes.
Okay. I'll do that just now. So this is my customer care number.
Jabez wanted to say something. Jabez?
Yeah, I think I just want to commend Harriet for the wonderful work that she's doing. I think there is quite a very huge potential on herbal medicine. Recently, we had some funny experience with herbal medicine. I'm saying would take alcohol until very late in the evening. So as an alumni, we started contributing, thinking that we can take this guy to a place where the treatment is normally done. That is, I failed to get some colleagues then decide can be given. And I'm told the guy was given some small herb with the alcohol that they normally take. And just like that, the guy has never taken alcohol to date.
Yeah.
And since that time, they have treated like, we've treated, I think, like about 5 guys who are total alcoholic using the same way of treatment. So I don't know how the thing worked, but then it has really surprised everybody in the group, because now people are sharing their experiences, the kind of experience that they've had with alcoholics. Sometimes they spend 300,000 in a rehab. When they come, the first day they're released from the rehab, then they get home drunk. So I think if you can do more research on the available medication out there, then it will really help so many people. Otherwise, thanks for the good job you're doing.
Asante, thank you very much for that. I'm also looking for that herb because I've heard about it. And I have friends who have been cured. And I understand that it comes from somewhere in Nyanza, if I'm not wrong. And I've been doing some work in Nyanza trying to identify the medicinal plants there, not been very successful so far. But I do know, for instance, even with our 2 products, the tenrate and the arorate, because they alkalinize, they perform a detox anyway, right? So the body goes from acidic to alkaline. And what happens also because I used to drink also a lot of wine before I started taking this product. And then when I started taking it, I noticed like I don't get drunk, right? I don't get high. I just, you sober up very fast. And the hangover is not as worse. Then I noticed now with time, it reduces how much you're drinking. And eventually I gave up alcohol myself, yeah. Just, in line with the fact that I'm getting old and I should be doing better things with my life. But if I could find that, I have so many relatives, who are suffering. People, I know so many people. If you can even show me or tell me which group that is, we could even fund some research or anything. But we would also like to help if anybody has that information.
Thank you.
There was also another question concerning kidney failure. I don't know whether, no, we haven't tackled that. What can you say about the current renal failure? Do you have any product for renal patients?
I do have this one. So this one is also a diuretic. So I'm not sure, because it only came out in December, we are giving it 6 months for us to understand the product better and understand how patients are interacting with it. So in terms of once they're on dialysis, I know one boy who's 11 years old who's on dialysis has started on this. So the idea is to use this and the dialysis at the same time, just like the same way when when you start using our tendoid product, because it regulates blood pressure and blood sugar, we always say if you're on that medication, give it time, measure to see what's happening. If it's dropping, then you can reduce your medication. And this is the same approach we're taking. We're just taking a holistic, open-minded approach. So you use the product and see what happens. And if now I'm not sure about renal failure itself, as in someone who's on 100% dialysis, but I can talk about those who are still at an early stage or at a middle stage.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I hope they got that. About the herbal for alcohol, I think you answered that. There was also something else for the, let me read. Same question as above, which regards to the use of fertilizers and recently the push for GMO products. What measures do you have in place to counter the potential effects on herbal products and sustain their natural state?
I mean, the only thing we can do is lobby. You know, the only thing we can do is lobby, first of all, for the mainstreaming of herbal traditional medicine, and then tie it in with conservation efforts, because I've noticed that there's a huge conservation push, and that's coming from the European Union, to be honest. So, so to speak, the Mzungus want us to preserve these forests. And that is why even now, it is becoming mandatory when you're building a new house to install a solar hot water system. So on my side, I'm doing everything in my power. Even the funders I use are all about renewable energy. I mean, I've been working in renewable energy for the past 15 years, and it's been very slow. So the only way we can combat all these problems is the more of us are lobbying, talking to government. Now, I understand the whole thing about GMO, again, is connected to soya. You know, the way I've been talking about all these feeds. You know, a lot of this maize is going to be grown for animal feeds, not necessarily even for human consumption. So it's the whole idea of big pharma, and that's coming, big agric, and it's mainly coming from the US. The US is now a very strong partner in this government. So US big companies are lobbying to do exactly what they did in the US, which is feed their population with this kind of food where their profit margins are higher. There's just more money to be made. So, I mean, as an individual or as a small African company, all we can do is continue to educate people, like the way we had the first conversation, mainly about what's on your plate. You know, you can only change things by changing what's on your plate, because when you walk into Carrefour, literally, through the apps or through the fact that you pay by M-Pesa, or even the fact that you pay by a card, it means all your purchases are tracked, right? So they know that there are these people who come from this area. Let's say they have Carrefour Lavington, and they'll know that there are these people who they can track your phone coming all the way from Kawangware, and they know you buy a lot of pembe, and you don't care if it's GMO. Then they will stock more pembe. Now, if you, let's say, come in from Lavington and you're very conscious about the environment or whatever, and you decide to buy organic, now you're buying organic, you go specifically to the organic section, then it automatically comes, just like us, we can tell from our apps which product is moving and in which area. We can tell in Kericho, like Mosipchot is moving a lot. We can tell in Kisumu, our gut product is moving a lot. We can tell in Central Province, let's say Arorwet is moving a lot. You know, people want babies in Central Province. People have a lot of stomach issues there in Kisumu, and people have a lot of arthritis and things like that in Kericho. So consumer awareness is critical. If we are not conscious about what it is that we're doing, if we want organic, we have to buy organic or live organic, which includes, you know, growing your own vegetables and things like that. So this is a very slow process, but the masses are not aware of the big picture. Because having lived abroad, I do understand the whole thing about, you know, large, big pharma, big agri, big tech, all the big companies that would like us as consumers as well.
Thank you. There, Christine wanted to say something. The hand was up.
Yes, I wanted to ask something. Suppose someone is on medication, the one that the doctor has given you the medication and you are still taking. Can you mix it with the herbal product?
Yes, you can. The only one that you cannot is the hormonal medication. When you take our product for women Arorwet, because it has a hormonal component. So the only one is compatible with is letrozole, but it's not compatible with like the one Visane. Visane is what is used now with people like there's people who have endometriosis. They're given Visane to induce menopause, so that the endo stops growing. People with fibroids are given another product again to induce menopause. I've forgotten the name. There's a whole bunch of things that are not compatible with our products, but on the hormonal spectrum. So as far as I know, we do work with a doctor called Dr. Muladina Ali at Nairobi Hospital. And he prescribes, for instance, Arorwet with letrozole and with Clomid, and with all the prenatals and everything else. So that is our most delicate product. And then, of course, the one that is for blood pressure, that one, I've mentioned the fact that you need to monitor what is happening with your patient. Because some will say, I don't feel funny anymore, I don't need medication. You know, the way there are people who, when they're in the city, they're taking all manner of medication. They get to the village, they say, but I feel better already. And then they put away their medication. So it has that same kind of effect, you know. Once you're getting better, you will reduce. If you have a headache, maybe you're taking a painkiller every few hours. When you feel better, you take one or you won't take it. But at the same time, consult Madina or consult anybody else. Consult your healthcare practitioner. We're not the kind of herbalists who say you shouldn't work with doctors. We ourselves work with KEMRI, we work with doctors, we work with nurses, we work with traditional birth attendants, we work with everybody. We even support Lataine Hospital in their women's issues. We actually renovated the women's ward, the men's ward, the men's medical ward, the women's surgery ward, and their OBGYN. So we are in the heart of medicine. You can use our product, but if you need surgery, get yourself to hospital type of thing. Huh?
Okay.
Somebody has asked, I think Antonia hasn't seen it. Somebody has asked about what you can say about the massive renal problem in the country.
Okay, I can't say much, to be honest. You know, I didn't even know there was a massive renal problem. I knew there was a massive diabetes and high blood pressure and rheumatoid arthritis problem. So I haven't really been following the renal issue. You know, sometimes when something affects your family, you think that's the problem, because you start hearing from other people that, oh, my cousin also had it and this, you know, but for another family, they might be battling with, let's say, lupus, which most people have never actually heard about or dealt with, or diseases like multiple system atrophy, very rare but very difficult disease, MSA, and it kills entire families. So I don't really have much to say about the massive renal problem in the country.
Yeah, Christine Sadia wanted to say something, Dr. Sadia.
Yeah, thank you, Otieno. And thanks everybody for let's thank the presenter for the highlight that she has given to us. I think it's very important. However, I just wanted to find out, a lot of these issues that she's raising is interlinked with Big Pharma and the fact that we have a government that is not caring for the health of its people. I think she has alluded to that fact. And the fact that we are sitting very pretty, we don't have very young advocates for policies that would safeguard the nation. We used to do that before, but some of us are aged and we had an intergenerational gap in terms of what we mind comes into the country. A number of diseases like cancer-induced products that we are getting. I think those who saw your media yesterday, the maize that is now seeping through the borders in Busia with aflatoxins. So we can pump in a lot of medication, people will take in medication. As long as we have not sorted our government to ensure that the big pharma, they are not compromised with their political agendas and what they are driving, I do not know how that problem will be sorted out, but that is the root cause of a lot of curative issues instead of preventive. It's not that doctors do not want to push the preventive agenda. We shout about it, but the government want to push people to the issue of preventive medicine so that you get insurance, your insurance is consumed, your medication. Right now, you've seen the shift that is from NHIF now not being given to everybody. So I guess we are in a catch-22, and we just need to find a space where we can all advocate for better things for our health. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very
Absolutely.
much. You want to comment on that, Harriet? Yes.
Yes, I mean, this has been my song for years, because even myself, my interaction, my own interaction in terms of even trying to get my products certified was a process. Trying to work with the government agencies, whether it's KEMRI or Pharmacy and Poisons Board, was such an incredible process. I could not believe, because I thought, as a person who is innovative and inventive, then the next thing would have been for government to partner with people like us and take our research to the next level. And sometimes it's not even about the money, but about allowing people like us to thrive. So what I've seen, every other country, in India, they have Indian medicine, Ayurveda. The Chinese are using Chinese medicine. The Europeans are using European medicine, the one that they give to us, right? And they even have their, naturopathic practices. But it's only in Africa that we consume everybody else's medicine. We consume ashwagandha from India, and we believe in it. We consume maca from South America. We believe in it. We consume we consume dong quai and ginseng from the Chinese, and then we go ahead and consume again licorice root from the Europeans. But when it comes to us, we call everything Loliondo. We just start laughing really hard, and we are so derogatory to people who are doing exactly the same thing that other races are doing. And that's why we don't have a strong natural African pharmacological practice. We are always doing everything else, working with the Europeans. When Big Pharma comes here, when a European company comes here, the treatment that they're afforded by ourselves, is the reason that our own industries don't thrive. And you see it in everything. You see it in the fact that foreign companies are in the malls. If you go into the mall, how many of those institutions where you go and shop are actually 100% local owned and like they grew? Most of them are actually foreign. Now they say that Dubai, through all their little outlets, or their, like, whether you go to buy furniture, whether you go to buy a thermos, whether you go to buy whatever it is you go to buy, something like this thermos here is more than likely imported, made somewhere else. So it's a huge whole problem with our society. And in as much as we want to blame government, we are in government, even as citizens. So sometimes this approach of pushing the problem to them and then waiting to see what they do. And of course, they won't do anything. Somebody's getting paid, and they will take, when their person is sick, they'll take them to India, you see, for good health care. But we are left here struggling with everything. So that is my main comment. And I know somebody had asked about sickle cell. I don't have medication for sickle cell.
It's obvious that we were colonized into believing that ours is bad, theirs is good. And that's where we get wrong, because we become consumers and we become victims. Dr. Eda, last comment or question as we approach the end.
Yeah, I would really like to congratulate the doctor and encourage her, Dr. Chebet. I'm a medical doctor and a fertility education coach. And it's very sad, but the fact is that when it comes to reproductive health in women, there's a huge conspiracy of silence issue. And women are actually, when they're taking these contraceptives, they're taking poisons. And many times they're being used just to conceal the symptoms, and they're not dealing with the root cause, which can be found if a woman tracks her fertility cycle. And you can even know from your fertility cycle and from studying your cervical mucus exactly which hormone is happening, is working in the fertility cycle. And many of these diseases that women suffer from later on can be found during adolescence. For example, you find that hormonal contraceptives are actually class 1 carcinogens. They do cause cancer. But on World Cancer Day, you'll never hear anything like that. And when you try to say it in a medical meeting with other doctors, they silence you and they remove your comment from the Zoom meeting. So the fact is that Big Pharma rules, and Big Pharma has a lot of money, and they cause a lot of infertility. They are abortifacient, the hormonal contraceptives. They do affect our mood. They can even result in suicide, especially in women less than 25 and adolescents. Yeah, and they do cause things like DVT, stroke, you know, and pulmonary embolism. People die from hormonal contraceptives, and they cause the abnormal weight gain and diabetes, which is obviously affecting our health. And so basically, I think it's about educating the people. Maybe we can use the video, we can use videos. And I find that when you try to comment on a show like Lean Googie, they delete your comments. They deleted my comments when the young doctor, because there's a whole generation of young doctors being sponsored by the World Health Organization to say that contraceptive is healthcare, even from the age of 10, and that abortion is healthcare. And none of these two are medical practices. Depo-Provera causes an increase of susceptibility to HIV in couples. And one of the women there had actually not had a period for 30 years, and she was infertile. And this young doctor went on the social media to say that there's nothing wrong with Depo and nothing wrong with. And so anybody, you can actually Google this. There's something called a citizen's petition from contraceptive study. Yeah, just Google citizen petition from contraceptive study 2019. The FDA. It's signed by over 100 doctors, and all the adverse effects of contraceptives are there. Because of the conspiracy of silence, even when you go to ask your doctor about the adverse effects, they'll downplay them. When you ask them about natural family planning, which I teach, they'll tell you it doesn't work, which is the biggest lie. So thanks for letting me share.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that wonderful comment. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Dr. Eda is a medical doctor with a master's level degree I think she's an ophthalmologist. I think that's the language. Yes, we have Kwach. You can give a vote of thanks.
Yeah, so thank you, number one, Paul Peter, for putting this together. I have followed this conversation from the very beginning. I want to appreciate in a very special way Chebet for having taken her time to do this research in this field that I know many people would shy away from. And it is very important to mention those of us who have listened to this conversation. I think it really throws us back into thinking about how we are taking personal responsibility about our health. I mean, the conversation was very, very holistic. And I really want to thank you, Chebet. Some of us who met Chebet at a personal level during the meet and greet can attest to the fact that she's very passionate about this area of discussion. So for me, quick thing that I picked from here. Number one, as she began, she mentioned that your health is your personal responsibility. I mean, that was so big for me because she was able to throw us in and talk to us on issues, even talking about the portions of food that we take, the kind of diet that we take on a daily basis. I mean, that really spoke into some of the things that we go through. And you realize that doing the right thing in the right portion, I mean, can save you so much, even in terms of the amounts of money that you would even spend on your matters of healthcare. Yeah, so we are all surrounded by this, the young people, the kind of food that we take, all that has a way of, affecting our health directly. She spoke to both men and also both women health issues that I think she's really delved in there. And I think those who are here, we can only encourage ourselves to take personal responsibility. I also want to thank Eda for the closing comments, throwing in. Actually, when Chebet was speaking, and I know there was a medical person, I said, I really wanted to hear that point. So Eda, thank you so much. And Peter, I was just thinking, is it possible that we have a repeat of this? You know, my mind was just thinking, how can we make this big and better? Because some of these issues are things that affect us every day. When Chebet mentioned about 20, 25 years old who have all these issues to do with infertility and all that, I mean, this is something that is really huge and is big and, you know, needs to be addressed at another level. Otherwise, thank you so much. I really don't want to speak much. Chebet has mentioned the branches where she is, so I believe because we are meeting virtually, many of us could be at different locations. So you can reach out to Chebet. Paul Peter, through the Live Your Dream, we have a WhatsApp group. You could reach out, and I've seen a couple of more questions coming in so that you can get clarity. There was also a gentleman who threw the spanner into the works when he mentioned about alcohol, and I saw a lot of questions following up there. So Peter, maybe the number, including myself, I need that number, yeah, so that we can help one or two people in issues of alcohol, and we have been told how that really affects our health. Otherwise, thank you so much. We really appreciate this. Is the end of the month. We wish you well. Power Monday. May you start your day and week well, and all the Lord's blessings. Asante.
Yeah, thank you very much, Piers. And thank you for mentioning that she said health is responsibility, our responsibility. I love to say that. And as Live Your Dream, we believe in, you cannot live your dream when you are unhealthy. It doesn't work. And that's why when thinking about what to put up for January, we thought about, we need to talk about vision so that we have a fantastic year. People are talking about hard year, whatever, economics. We thought about wealth and money. We thought about staying mentally tough, and we thought about health. And we could get a better person than Harriet to give us this. I personally believe in our traditional medication solutions, and I know that they are fantastic. And I know we will continue to discuss with Harriet where and when possible so that she can always join us.